Hey guys, JB here. Welcome to the channel, or the community as we always say. I'm so glad you're here, and we've got a great discussion to discuss today. It's really about this reMarkable tablet or reMarkable company at a $1 billion valuation. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm sitting here in Indiana. As many of you know, I've driven up here. I'm getting ready to do a lake house remodel, and make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're gonna be going through that. And I'm gonna show you my first visit. I haven't even been there yet. Super pumped about that. I'm at my parents' right now, just enjoying this beautiful Indiana weather. And I'm reading on my tablet this concept from TechCrunch, or idea that reMarkable, the maker of the focus-friendly e-paper tablet, says it's close to funding at a $1 billion valuation after selling 1 million devices. This is on TechCrunch. It was posted May 10th. So what's pretty crazy about this is I totally underestimated the sales of the reMarkable 2. I was thinking maybe 200,000 units, 250,000 units. And they say hardware, as the saying goes, is hard, but there remains an opportunity for startups that focuses on building a viable business. And an example, reMarkable out of Norway made a simple, slick $300 tablet by its name and has sold 1 million devices since 2017 and recently raised money at a $1 billion valuation after making revenues of $300 million and an operating profit of $31 million in 2021. So they go on to talk about the investment they have. The company now has 300 plus people. We've had a really weird relationship with reMarkable. A lot of people were kind of frustrated that they came out with the subscription model. They're very confidential, but they had a $15 million investment in 2019, which we had talked about, and it only had sold 100,000 devices then. So we could figure that they've sold over 900,000 plus devices in a while. And it's pretty crazy that they've got that big. So looking in the article, it says down here, in 2021, their revenue was $303 million. With an EBITDA of $31 million. Their growth rate was 120%. In 2020, it was 230%. So the big thing is people tend to get frustrated with their subscription model, but I think that's the user base that is current, right? Because those numbers are just crazy. It's just showing me that there's a whole user base out there that really isn't complaining about the subscription problem or whatever, you know? They're trying to be the Apple. So they say they build monthly users in 2 tiers. That's how they do with the Connect, right? And they didn't give any projection of device sales in 2022, but they're really looking at the software idea of building the subscription model. As I've said before, when you get venture capital money, you need to have some way to produce revenue, just not via the hardware. So you can see these guys are really looking at kind of becoming the Apple of the e-ink space, which I find really interesting. So if we go this, the sound and feel of reMarkable's pin on its screen is more accurate to writing. We all know that. The company's business model was originally, this is key, banked around selling hardware, which today is used by hundreds of thousands of active users, which they launched in 2020. But in October of last year, they made a bet on aligning itself a little closer to the idea of focus with the Connect service. While others like Apple, and this is what's critical, have also built out reoccurring service businesses based around its hardware, this was especially important milestone for reMarkable, which has only released 2 devices since being founded in 2013. And it touts that you don't need to buy a new device for at least 10 years to buy a new one. So, as I said, it's billed monthly. We all know the tiers. Connect is how the startup plans to make a substantial part of its money going forward. Included, they said, I was asked to decline the projections. But it's the idea of connecting Google Drive, OneDrive, all that stuff that we've talked about, handwriting conversion. In other words, a few features to get information in and out of your reMarkable tablet, but otherwise, nothing really especially dynamic. But in this way, even though it's called a tablet, the reMarkable is more like an e-reader. He says with an e-reader, you own and use it for quite a long time. In our business, it's not a buy a new model every year dynamic. There's no emphasis on the new model ownership. We don't want to force our company to slap on some iteration for the sake of it. There is true innovation, maybe steps in terms of what we can offer the company. We also think it's great from a sustainability perspective to move away from pushing out new hardware constantly. So he said he didn't disclose how many had adopted to Connect. We know that that's been a very challenging thing for the initial user base, right? I can tell it just from our subscribers. but noting that so far it has had a great response. This is reMarkable's words, right? It tries to prove to its customers that they can serve them on a running basis. Given that Connect only launched in October last year, it's too early to tell, but its $31 million operating profit in 2021 was more than triple its profit in 2022 at $10 million. But reMarkable noted that this was driven largely by sales of its latest paper tablet. So, here's the deal. I didn't realize they had sold so many devices. So they're a $303 million company, basically on hardware sales, generating a profit of $31 million, getting a $1 billion valuation. So now they have access to capital. So it's going to be a really interesting company. You can see they're taking the sustainability angle, meaning you buy a reMarkable 2, you don't need to buy another one. But we're also talking about the subscription model. And as I've mentioned before, when you bring VC in, they're looking for ROI, and the ROI comes from the subscription basis. Can this hold true with reMarkable? I personally feel they're going to have to sell another 1 million tablets and get 500,000 people on the subscription model. But you can see where they're going. And I would like to know in the comments below, what do you think? I know we've talked about this a few times. I had the hammer break in it and saying people are getting frustrated. But that was the current user base. And they actually let the current user base get free Connect if you bought it before the launch of October. So it's only the new people that are getting the subscription model. So it's a really interesting company, and to me it's a pretty interesting dynamic to see that they did $300 million in sales. That's pretty huge. That's a lot of e-ink tablets out there. And I know there's a quiet consumer base because I have a lot of friends that have bought the reMarkable 2 that are using it on a consistent basis. And I know a lot of people bought the Supernote. In the paper, I feel that the reMarkable 2 has driven the market through their sales and their advertising to get people to experience new devices, or the Onyx devices, right? I know my deep guide, Voya, who's become a friend thanks to YouTube, right? And my channel have grown tremendously because of these e-ink devices. And if you ever get a chance, make sure you go support Voya and my deep guide because he does a real good breakdown of things. But it's really interesting. I'm kind of shocked by these numbers. I thought maybe 250, 300,000 units. It's going to be interesting what happens in the future. With the Sony new device and the paper coming out and the software they have, I'm really anxious. I find myself using the paper more and more. So I'm really anxious to see how that works out. I've never been a big fan of the books products, even though if you're an engineer person and you are in that left-sided mind, you may like those. If you want to take a quiz to find out which device you recommend, you can go to morningcoach.com. I got a quiz. But $303 million they made in 2021. That's a heck of a lot of reMarkable 2s out there. What are your thoughts about this company? What do you think about the future? I think the subscription model is where they're going. Their annual growth was 120%. That's pretty dang good. Doesn't seem like they're going to be creating any new devices. They're talking about sustainability, making that tablet last for 10 years. I think there's a segment of the market that's going to applaud that and say, look, I don't have to buy a new device. When's the reMarkable 3 coming out? Because Apple's every year, you know what I mean? These iPads every year. So if they're saying, we're going to work on the software, we're going to make it better, and we're going to keep working on it, and you're going to pay $8 a month, is that worth it to you? Or I think more importantly, the question is, because there's millions, or at least 1 million units out there, is it important to a new user? Is a new user that they're attracting going to say, hey, I don't mind paying $8 a month, and supporting the company if they continue to increase the software? It's going to be interesting. I mean, I find myself using my iPad mini more and more. In full disclosure, I use my paper for my notes, but my iPad mini goes with me everywhere, and I put a screen protector on it. But the reMarkable 2 is an interesting device. I just don't grab it as much. And will it be outdated in 2 to 3 years? Well, let's talk about it in the comments, all right? As always, hey, if you don't mind a thumbs up for this discussion and helping get this video out there, it helps the channel. And I appreciate you being a part of this. There are 20,000 plus people now that are rocking this channel. I appreciate you. So thanks. And we've got a lot of videos coming. We're going to be working on the remodel of the house this week. So a lot of things are going to be happening from here in Indiana, and I can't wait to share those with you. So until the next video, go have a fantastic day, and thanks for the support. You watched to the end. Thank you so much for that. You're awesome. You can click subscribe for more awesome videos that we do all kinds of different things. And then down here, you can watch the next video that comes up from our community and channel. By the way, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. What do you think about today's video? All right, thanks so much. Hit that subscribe or watch that next video.